How's it going, YouTube? Got FourthStarTCG here, and today we are taking a look at my PSA submission. So this is, oh goodness, I don't even know what number it is. A very high number. I think we're into the 20s now of PSA submissions. But this is my biggest submission ever. I'm submitting just about 90 cards to PSA. Here is the full stack right here. I can barely fit it into my hand. This is by far my largest submission. I think maybe my largest submission before was somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 cards, maybe 55 to 60. So now hitting 90, that is big. This has cards from all eras, and I'm very excited to get this submission off very soon after recording this video. So, without any further ado, let's go through each and every one of the cards that I'm submitting to PSA. I'm submitting these. I'm not submitting to the 750 special, actually. The turnaround time on that is like 100 business days plus, which I'd be lucky if I got my cards back this year. Yeah. So, gonna do a little faster turnaround time, just because I'd like to have these cards back before the end of the year. But let's get into the cards. So first off, I have some English EXs to submit. Got Kamerupt EX here. Now all of these English EX cards, they have some things wrong with them. I'd be surprised if one of them came back a 10. I'm hoping for 9s on all of them. But we'll see. This Kamerupt, just a beautiful card. Very, very hard to grade. I think there's only 8 of this Kamerupt in PSA 10. But this one's just got some scratches on it, so who knows. The backs of these English EX cards really beautiful. Next up, Crawdaunt EX. These old English EX cards, just beautiful. As you can see, like, the backs are really, really clean, but just with these English EX cards, there are hollow scratches are very common. It's a little hard to see, but there are some very light hollow scratches on this. Again, mainly hoping for 9s on these. Next up, quite a big EX card here. Very happy about this. Flareon EX, one of the Evolution EXs from Delta Species. Delta Species, you got like 1 EX per box. Maybe you could pull 2. But Delta Species was definitely a hard set to pull EXs out of, as there are only 3. And again, the back of this card, very, very nice. It's just those minor hollow scratches on the front. Next up, Typhlosion EX. This, the main problem with this is that it's off-center. As you can see, the E-Series cards, you know, people think they're off-center all the time, but that's normally the way they are. But on this one, it actually is a little off-center. You can sort of see it more on the back, as that sort of gives you a clear idea. Again, the back perfectly clean, but there's just some very light hollow scratches on this card that probably make it not a PSA 10. But I'm happy with 9s on these old English cards. Really, totally fine with that. 9 is a very solid grade. Next up, Gardevoir EX, again from EX Sandstorm. If any card were to come back at 10, I think it would be this Gardevoir, just because the scratches, they're really like, I think I only saw 1 scratch, and you could probably construe that as a print line. It's down on the E-Series border. It's very difficult to see. And PSA does award 10s to cards with print lines sometime. So this could possibly be a 10 candidate, but who knows? Of course, we'll find out in several months once the submission comes back. Really not holding my breath on this submission. Next up, Rocket's Zapdos EX. This is a beautiful card. Again, issues with it. It's off-center, and there is some more significant hollow scratching on this one. I would not be surprised if it came back an 8, just because it's got sort of 2 things wrong with it, the scratching and the off-centering. But who knows? We'll see. PSA might just decide, again, because the backs of these cards are very clean. I picked these all out hoping for gem candidates. But All right, next up, our final English EX, Typhlosion EX from Unseen Forces. This has no hollow scratching on it. I've looked it over very carefully, and I'm pretty sure of that. However, it is off-center, top to bottom, if you can see there. The top border is much larger than the bottom border, so that's probably going to knock it down from the 10 grade to the 9 grade. But this is another one that if it came back a 10, I wouldn't be overly surprised. I think it might be within that 60-40 centering range, and then if there's nothing else wrong with it, they might decide to award it the 10 grade. But again, that's why you submit to PSA. All these cards are nice. I'd be happy with them, whatever the grade comes back as. Next up, we actually have 3 copies of one card, sending off 3 copies of Groudon, the holographic card from EX Emerald. So these are part of my recent purchases. It would be great if I got a 10 on one of them. There's really not much wrong on the backs here. There's maybe like a little ding on a couple of the corners on one. Just a corner ding here and there. Really nothing significant. So really hoping that at least one of these cards is able to come back with the Gem Mint 10 grade. But if they all came back with 9s, I would not be disappointed at all. Next up, into some more EX Emerald Holos, submitting this Milotic Holo. All of these cards, all these English cards, these old English EX series cards, I'd be very satisfied with 9s. This Milotic is just a beautiful card. It might be a 10 candidate. There really isn't much on the back at all for this card. So who knows, might get a 10 on this. But again, that's all up to PSA. Next up, Deoxys Speed. This is another one of the holos from EX Emerald. Really, these holos are still very affordable. And if you get lucky, you can find some 9 to 10 candidates. So again, I think this is probably a solid 9. Might have a shot at the 10 if I got lucky. There is a little ding in that corner there. So PSA might see that and knock it down from the 10 to a 9. But again, I'm more than happy with 9s on these old English EX series cards. Next up, we have a very interesting part of the submission. It is Delta Species Holos. So these Delta Holos, the vast majority of them, I think all of them except for, I'll throw up this one Togetic here, which I had recently purchased off of eBay. Again, very nice on the back here. Maybe just a ding or two in a corner. And it has a small print line, so this is probably a 9, but again, very happy with 9s on these cards. All of these cards I pulled myself, like way back when I was opening up EX series booster packs. And, back then, just pulling holos, when I opened these packs in 2015, 2016, when they were relatively affordable, pulling holos wasn't very exciting. You wanted to pull EXs, you wanted to pull gold stars, anything else wasn't really exciting. It's just like, GX and V boxes now, the Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon, where if you pull regular holos, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. But recently, these cards have really started growing on me, and the value has started increasing as well. So it was time for me to bust out my stacks of these holos and submit them to PSA. So without any further ado, let's get into all of these. And these are pack fresh, so really expecting nothing but 10s and 9s here. I've got 2 Holon Phantoms Flygon. Most of these are going to be from Holon Phantoms. I opened up a ton of Holon Phantoms packs, but I got the regular Holo Flygon and the Reverse Rare Flygon. The EX Series Reverse Rares, super nice. This artwork is just beautiful. So really, really hoping that one of those comes back with the Gem Mint 10 grade. Next up, Latias Holo, again from EX Holon Phantoms. And I won't really show the backs on these just because, they're really, really nice. Again, they're pack fresh, 10s and 9s hoping for. This is just beautiful Fukuda artwork. So nice. Next up, we got a reverse rare Raichu. More beautiful Fukuda artwork there. This is surprisingly a fairly expensive card. Raichu, not normally thought of as, you know, like a big money card, but this one very nice. So very much hoping for a high grade on that. Here's a nice one. Holon Phantoms Rayquaza, the water type. There are a couple Delta species Rayquaza. They're all so cool. Just the artwork, the stories that the artworks tell, they're just amazing. And this is some great Arita art there. Next up, we have 2 copies of the normal form Deoxys. Again, just such amazing artwork on these Delta cards. Really, really happy about finally submitting these cards to PSA. They're just, you know, to pull them myself, that was amazing. Didn't really realize it at first back when these cards, back when I first pulled them. But to recognize that, like, oh, all of these cards, you know, I pulled myself out of packs, really something I would never be able to do with the current prices. So here's this Jolteon holo, this reverse holo from EX Delta species. That's just a beautiful, beautiful card. So really, really excited about that. And next up, 2 copies of my Milotic from EX Dragon Frontiers. So I did open up some EX Dragon Frontiers packs. Thankfully, I pulled 2 of this beautiful Milotic holo. So it's just, I have the Japanese art in a PSA 10, and it's just beautiful. So really, really happy to be submitting these off to PSA. And the last of the Delta holos, we have an Espeon from Delta species. There's a couple evolutions in here. We got I think maybe one more to go through. But yeah, so very, very nice on this Espeon. Again, pack fresh. Really hoping for a high grade. So just a few more EX holos here. I have this Unseen Forces Flareon to submit. There's some very light holo scratching on this, so I'm expecting a 9 on it. Wasn't going to submit it, but then I saw 9 sold for like $60, and I was like, all right, you know, I'll pay $10 to grade this card if it comes back a 9 and increases the value by, you know, $50 or whatever. So very happy to send that one off. So the last EX holo is, or the last English EX holo is my Milotic from EX Hidden Legends, and this is the reverse holo. It's got that beautiful reverse holo pattern with the types, and it's also got the type in reverse holo just right there on the Pokemon card, as you can see that. So this has a little ding in the corner, expecting a 9. But we'll be very happy, as I did pull that myself. I actually pulled that, I think, in the same video that I pulled my Kyogre EX. This is the only EX card that I've ever pulled. Videos on the channel. That was quite the experience. Next up, got a Groudon holo from Call of Legends. This is a little off-center, but still a very, very nice card. You know, happy with a 9. Happy to grab these old holographic cards. You know, we think Call of Legends not that old, but sometimes I think, like, okay, Call of Legends was a Heart Gold Soul Silver set. So sometimes I think that the video games that these sets are based off of are older than the cards, if that makes sense. Anyways, next up, a couple modern English cards. Primal Groudon EX. Really not sure about this card. I just really wanted to submit it just to see how it would do. There's some very light wear in the corner. Again, this is sort of like on the edge. Maybe a 10, probably a 9. We'll see what PSA says. Next up, Kyogre EX Full Art. I think this one has maybe a little bit of a better shot at a 10 than the Groudon, but the pops are just so low on these Primal Clash cards that it's really difficult to tell, and they're really difficult to grade. Next up, I have a card that I am really hoping comes back as a 10. It is the Shiny Superior from Dragons Exalted. Excuse me. So this card, it's really, really nice. There's nothing on the back. Really, really hoping there is some like light silvering on the top, but I hope that's really not damage on the card. So really hoping that that comes back with the 10 grade. All right, next card, Shining Genesect. This one's a little off-center, but I really think it's within the margin of a PSA 10. And, you know, these modern cards, back's perfect. The back centering looks good. So hoping that this one comes back as a 10. If it doesn't, that would be a little disappointing, as this is like, I don't know, $3 card. But still, we'll send it off. We'll see what PSA says. Next up, I have two of these beautiful alternate art Yveltal promos. These are super cheap. They're like a couple bucks, and they're just beautiful. I picked up a couple of them. These are the two nicest. So really hoping for 110 out of these two. Anything really less than a 10 on a modern card, that's a little iffy. Just given the price point. But still, they're beautiful. Would be happy to have them graded in any way. Next up, Mega Venusaur EX from Evolutions. I think I bought this off of Silver Snorlax after he opened a Evolutions box at Worlds last year. So I bought it because it looked super nice, and these cards are really cheap. So really wanted to send this in. Again, Evolutions, hoping for 10s. That's just how it goes. Next up, I got a really cool card. I don't know how many of these cards have been graded, but it's so cool. I really couldn't pass up submitting it. It is one of the Suicune Cosmos foil promos. So this, you know, the normal Suicune Holo and Breakpoint, just beautiful artwork. But the holo pattern kind of leaves more to be desired. But this Cosmos foil, just beautiful, and the back is super clean. Really nothing much there, so really hoping that this card comes back with the Gem Mint 10 grade. I think I paid less than $1 for it, so if it doesn't, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would just be so cool to have a card like this in a PSA 10. Alright, next up, got the Espeon Deoxys and Umbreon Darkrai promos from the Tag Team Powers collection box. These are really nice. Again, pulled them myself from the box, so really hoping that they come back with the Gem Mint 10 grade. Would really stink if like one got a 9 and one got a 10, but you know, it would be even worse if both of them got like 6s or something. So hopefully they'll come back with high grades. Next up, I got a Rayquaza GX Shiny from the Hidden Fates Premium Collection box, I think. Yeah, this is really nice. There's like nothing on the back. So really hoping for a 10. Again, this is just a couple dollar card. In a 10, it actually goes for a fair bit. I think like $60 to $70, which is kind of surprising given the low price point of this card in general. But, you know, Shiny Rayquaza, PSA 10, that's a winning combination all around. Next up, I have some beautiful new cards. Just some of my favorites from the most recent Rebel Clash set to submit. I have my Milotic V full art. This is just beautiful. Such an amazing card. This is the first ultra rare Milotic since EX Emerald. So that's really exciting. This is, you know, really only the second ultra rare Milotic. You know, we had the shiny in, oh goodness, Supreme Victors, I think, but really not. It really has not been a, you know, it's been in holo cards, it's been in a lot of sets, but it hasn't had some ultra rares. So really excited to get this full art card. It's just amazing. I picked I have 3 cards from Rebel Clash. I picked them all up off of my good friend Old School Pokemon. And I had him personally sort of look through these cards and pick out the best copies out of the packs that he opened. So really hoping for 10s on these cards. Next up, Dragapult V. I love this card. Dragapult's one of my favorite new Pokemon. And this is really the only Dragapult card where it looks good. The VMAX, really not looking good. The Holo looks weird. This is really the only card that I feel does the, like, impossible coolness of Dragapult justice. I was really hoping for this in a PSA 10. And next up, the Gold Frostmoth. This is just beautiful if I can try to catch the shine in the light a little bit there. These new gold cards really are just so cool. This is my favorite. I don't really like the Galarian Berserker in this set, but I love the Frostmoth. So really hoping this comes back with the 10 grade. Anyway, so that is it for English cards. 20 minutes on English, and now let's get into the Japanese cards. So, first up, I'm grading this for the memes. I swear, the E4 Discord put me up to it. Japanese T17. I don't know what this card's worth. The English one goes for a ton of money. I found it in like an old binder, and it actually looked pretty nice. It's got a ding in the corner up there, but it's really small, so who knows? We might get a PSA 10 T17 in Japanese. That would be kind of hilarious. But yeah, just grading it for the memes. E4 Discord, I hope you enjoy that. A lot of these cards are like just stuff that I pulled out of boxes like that weren't worth it to grade a while ago, but now they are. Case in point, this I think it's Skyridge, Gengar Holo. Really, really nice. You can see the beautiful holo pattern there. But yeah, just, found this in a box. It's mint. I never really got around to grading it, but these holos selling for a lot of money. Check out that beautiful holo pattern. So, happy to grade that. And now we are into the Japanese EXs. So every FST submission got to have some Japanese EXs, or EX series stuff. First up, Rayquaza EX. This is from the Rayquaza Emerald. I think it's quarter deck, actually. I think it was only like 20 cards or something. Yeah, so that's very nice. This has there's several Rayquaza EXs. I don't think this one ever came to English, this exact artwork, but still pretty nice. Next up, got some more promo EXs. Got the Kyogre and Groudon EX from the constructed starter decks. So this is, love the holo pattern on that Groudon, that cracked ice. The Kyogre actually has a really sort of weird wave pattern. You can see it there. But I actually don't have these cards graded. So I've had them in my collection for a while. They were only a couple bucks, but just decided to send them off. I think it was last summer I picked up a complete set of ADV Undone Seal. And several of the EX cards were gradable, so here they are. Metagross EX. All of them are first edition, I believe. So we got Metagross EX. We got Vileplume EX. We've got Ninetales EX. This is just a beautiful EX card. Super, super hyped. I have a couple of them in PSA 10. I'm not selling them just because they're so beautiful. And this one will happily go in my pile of extra cards. Wigglytuff EX. Again, not really much to write home about there, but still a mint Japanese EX card that I'm happy to grade. we got the Regice EX. This is just beautiful. Really hoping that this one comes back with that Gem Mint 10 grade. It's just such a beautiful card. Of course, I do already have all these cards in PSA 10, these set-based ones, but you can never have too many. You can never have too many Gem Mint Japanese EX cards. Regirock EX, I got burned on my last submission of Regirock. Let me see, do I actually have it here? Yeah, I do. So I submitted a Mint Regirock and PSA decided it was a 7. Don't know why, but second time's the charm on submitting that Regirock. Obviously not the same card, but Walrein EX, got a couple from Legend Maker. Just beautiful. Again, these old EX cards, love them so much. We'll pick them up whenever I get the opportunity to, and sometimes they're mint, and sometimes they're gradable. So, Armaldo EX, I don't know how many copies of this Armaldo I've had in my collection. Quite a few, but happy to submit another copy. The last from Legend Maker, or Mirage Forest in Japanese, Dustox EX. And I think to finish it off, we've got a couple from EX Deoxys, or Clash of the Blue Sky. So we've got Crobat EX here. Very, very nice. And Sharpedo EX. I think I have an extra 10 of this. But again, always happy to submit them. Alright, so now we're moving into the more modern stuff. Got 2 Level X cards to submit. This is my first of these in a while. With the Luxray GL Level X in Japanese. From Platinum 2 and Bonds to the End of Time. Don't quote me on that. Just my guess. And Gengar Level X. I know this is from Arceus. But, yeah, the hollow pattern on these Japanese Level X's, really cool. Definitely like it. I think the only Japanese Level X I have right now is the Rayquaza C. Voice getting to me a little bit after close to 30 minutes, but we'll keep going. So, I have these 3 Victory medals from the Heart Gold Soul Silver era. I really don't know too much about them. Picked them up. They're mint. You could trick someone who doesn't know much about Pokemon cards into thinking that these are trophy cards, which I think is pretty cool. You put up a big display with these, tell someone they're trophy cards, they wouldn't know the difference. So I like them for that, but just these cute Pikachu artworks, very nice. Hoping that they all come back with the same grade. Whether it's 9, whether it's 8, whether it's 10, I just want the set in the same grade. Got a couple full arts to submit. Entei EX full art from Dark Rush. Just beautiful. Love the full art pattern in Japanese. You can see a little bit of it there. But yeah, Japanese full art, very, very nice. Giratina EX full art. This is from Dragon Blast, I believe. Again, don't quote me on that. Testing my Japanese card knowledge here. But next up, I actually have 2 Primal Groudon EX full arts to submit. Just picked up these. I think they're super cheap. I think I picked them both up for like under $15 a piece. I'll do that all day for these mint Japanese Primal Groudon full arts. These were so hard to pull. So really, really happy to grab these. And we got 1 Primal Kyogre to go with it. This is probably one of my favorite full arts of the XY era. It's just beautiful. If you can see that amazing hexagonal pattern in the back of Kyogre, the detail, the attention to detail on these full art cards just blows your mind. Next up, 2 copies of the Bandit Ring Shiny Primal Kyogre. Love this. It's just a beautiful card. I already have the set in PSA 10, but again, you can never get enough of these in my book. And finishing it up with the EX Full Arts is Darkrai EX Full Art from Breakpoint, or Rage of the Broken Heavens, yes. So now we got some GX Full Arts, submitting this Mewtwo GX Full Art that I pulled in one of my boxes of Shining Legends, goodness, way back in like 2017. It sat in a card saver for a long time. It's only just getting submitted now. It always seems to get left out of my submissions, but this is Mewtwo's time. He's good to go off to PSA now. Got a couple ultra shiny GXs here. Metagross GX, Articuno GX, Naganadel GX, and last but not least, Buzzwole GX. So again, these are just these are really nice cards. Hoping for 10s on them. I got kind of screwed on my my last submission with Ultra Shiny. I think I got 110, a 9, and an 8, which for Japanese cards you're really not hoping to get. Anyway, so now we are down to the last part of the submission, the last few cards, and it is Japanese Holos. So we got the Dark Tyranitar from the, oh goodness, I think this is the Moltres, the Black Deck Kit. Yes, the Black Deck Kit. So this has a really cool holo pattern on it, that sort of speckle there, if you can see it. Really nice. I think I had one in a 10, sold it, but really hoping to get it back in the collection with the Gem Mint 10 grade. And normally I submit a lot more Delta Holos than this, but just the way things rolled, only submitting 2, but what we lack in quantity, we make up for in quality. Probably the #1 Delta Species Holo, Charizard from Miracle Crystal. Just a beautiful card. Gem Mint, really hoping for the 10 grade on this Charizard. Probably the most difficult to acquire in Gem Mint condition. Very popular, lots of people love it. And the second, Latios from Delta Species. And last but not least, got a couple just sort of regular Japanese holos. I'll go through them fairly quickly. And, oh, we have one more thing after the holos. Just a couple cards. When you're submitting 90 cards, sometimes you lose track of a couple. Got the 7-Eleven Groudon, beautiful Mitsuhiro Rita artwork. In English, it was a secret rare in the Hidden Legends set. I believe it was a box topper. We got 2 Magma vs. Aqua Sharpedo holos. So very, very happy with those. Have the English one in a 10. Got the Magma's Houndoom. Again, just a beautiful card. Look at that holo pattern. These are other cards that I've sort of been holding off on submitting for a while, but just got to get them out the door. Just got to do it. A big submission like this. This is the submission to do it in. Remember that Milotic from Hidden Legends? Well, here it is in Japanese. Just beautiful. Really, really excited to submit this card. Just super happy. The holo pattern, beautiful. Metagross from EX Deoxys. Again, just love the artwork on these old EX holos, and hoping that a good percentage of them come back with the 10 grade. And the last, voice is getting there, but we're almost done. The last Japanese holo, Salamence from EX Dragon. What beautiful artwork there. So exciting, so amazing. Really hoping that this comes back in a Gem Mint 10. And finally, the last 3 cards, we got some promos. Shiny Mega Gengar. Used to have this in a 10. Would love to get it back into the collection. And these 2 promos, I've been looking for them for a while. They're really, for modern promos, they're fairly rare. It is the Garchomp and Mega Garchomp EX Kamex Mega Battle promos. So these are fairly difficult to get if you're not buying direct from Japan. So that's where I had to get these through a Japanese middleman. But got them, they're mint. Would love to score them in the PSA 10 grade. So that'll do it for this submission. Really, really excited. It's so many cards. So just after I finish this video, I'm going to package these all up, send them off to Ludkin's Collectibles, and get them off to PSA as soon as possible. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for bearing with me. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stick around for more videos.